In an open economy and democracy, consumption choices are all around us. The media we read or watch, perhaps the car we drive, and even the coffee we drink. Why do we choose what we ultimately purchase or consume? We purchase products and services based on a bundle of attributes that fulfills a want and/or a need. This bundle of attributes can represent tangible or intangible characteristics of the product or service, such as price, convenience, product, brand, etc. But ultimately, the attributes should fulfill a specific customer need, which is how marketing professor Irvine Clark describes unique value propositions. But how do we really know what customers need and want? Henry Ford famously said, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." This is where innovators and marketers often clash. Innovators believe their creativity alone will attract customers, sort of a build it and they will come mentality. And classical marketers believe the only way to build products is for customers to tell them what they want. What if the opposing innovator versus marketer positions are both slightly wrong? What if Henry Ford had different tools and processes to help him better understand customer wants and needs? He may have discovered that the current equine transportation prevalent at that time had a myriad of other issues beyond speed that remain unsolved for the average customer in cities, such as the manure problem, the stabling problem, the distance problem, the cargo problem, the cost problem, etc., that if closely examined would have supported the need for affordable mechanized transportation. In this chapter, we'll learn how to apply contemporary tools and processes that create compelling and unique value propositions that match target customers' wants and needs, as well as explore basic pricing concepts to translate value into profit. This is one of my favorite chapters, so let's get started. In 2017, the Daily Press, an existing and extremely successful community news organization located in Newport News, Virginia, had 3 print newspapers, along with a tourism magazine, phone book, and email newsletters in its portfolio. The local economy, however, had stalled, with many jobs, both military and blue-collar, leaving the area, and those that had returned being lower-paid jobs. Facing potentially lower revenues, the Daily Press was engaged in several marketing activities to increase revenues, with one potential approach to understand how they may be able to increase levels of interactivity of their subscribers with its email newsletters. If the newsletter offering could be redesigned to better meet customer needs and wants, interactivity would therefore increase and ostensibly enable the Daily Press to charge higher advertising rates and therefore increasing advertising revenue. In the accompanying case study, the Daily Press case study reveals in more detail the importance of deeply understanding customer needs and wants to create unique value propositions. This audio summary and PowerPoint slides will cover the highlights of that report. Whether you have an existing organization like the Daily Press or a startup, it's important to create unique value propositions. For startup organizations, the challenge is to create a new bundle of attributes that meet customer wants and needs. In contrast, existing organizations like the Daily Press must develop ways to either improve their value proposition or invent a new product. Improving an existing bundle of attributes for a product or service for a specific customer segment is the most common approach. For the Daily Press, we began with an evaluation of what was currently offered by the firm. There are 2 main frameworks for evaluating a current or potential product or service to see how it compares to other current products or services in the portfolio of the firm. The first is the Boston Consulting Group Matrix, and the second is Vernon's Product Life Cycle. Using Vernon's Product Life Cycle to understand the revenue potential of the email newsletter for the Daily Press, from life to death, we determined that the text-based newsletter was in the late maturity stage, based on the 4 stages of introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. We then explored what other media organizations were doing for their email newsletters to generate potential ideas about how to revitalize and potentially reinvent a late-stage product to create more value. We discovered that there were a few media organizations that were transitioning to using visual, map-based email newsletters versus text. Based on Vernon's product life cycle, we researched and tested a unique value proposition for a visual, map-based approach to email newsletter versus the current text-based email newsletter for the daily press. There are 5 key questions all organizations, including startups, should ask themselves when considering the creation of a new product or the reinvention of an existing product's value proposition, as shown here. If you are the head of the organization and working to answer these questions, I also recommend asking 3 to 5 key employees or others close to the organization, such as freelancers, to also answer these key questions on a confidential basis to receive some relatively unbiased feedback. Another useful approach is called the Mad-libr approach, introduced by Geoffrey Moore in his 1991 book, Crossing the Chasm, to test the rigor and clarity of your value proposition against your competitors. As shown here, you will fill in 4 blanks to complete these sentences. When we apply the Mad-libr approach to the daily press case study, our result is as follows. The visual newsletter is for current daily press email newsletter subscribers who receive the text-based email newsletter. Our company will provide hyperlocal, clickable, map-based email news so that subscribers will feel increased affiliation and connection toward the message and provider. After you have used these frameworks to understand how your products and services are positioned and might appeal to customers, next we can use research tools and techniques to deeply understand the target audience or customer needs, wants, emotions, and motivations. We need to go beyond stated wants and needs to understand emotions and motivations associated with them so that we can appropriately design products and services. But how do we get into our customer's head to do this? For the daily press, we used secondary and syndicated research methods to understand and explore the target audience wants, needs, emotions, and motivations, as described in more detail in Chapter 6. Once we have a deep understanding of our target audience, we can advance to summarize this information into a value creation customer profile. The daily press customer wanted to know where the news was happening in relation to them and their families, especially crime. Subscriber customers still needed to know the news, but giving them both the news and where it was occurring offered them both the functional need and the want. The daily press customer pains when receiving the email newsletter was that they didn't often know exactly where a news event occurred, and therefore, if they had interest, they would have to click on the email link, then go to the website to scan for any details on location, which weren't always easily discernible. The gains, or what the daily press customers were seeking, was ease of navigation and saving time and effort from extra clicks and scrolling so they would be informed and feel in the know. Finally, the daily press customers' motivations were to have a deeper connection to the community by being able to connect more fully with what was happening in the news and how it may impact them and their loved ones emotionally. Once the value creation customer profile has been created, we can move on to create the value offering map, which is the organization's answer or offering to address the most important customer wants, needs, emotions, and motivations. The purpose, which is at the leftmost section of the value offering map, should address the essential customer motivations of the target audience. For the daily press, remember that the purpose was to create more interactivity and elaboration with its subscribers so that a deeper social and emotional connection between the daily press and the subscriber could be formed. The next section or area, pain relief and gains, is designed to relieve the customer pains and help them achieve their ultimate goals. The daily press subscriber customers wanted to reduce the frustration of multiple clicks and scanning for location-specific information, which would create increased confidence that they were informed but reduce the effort in doing so on the current platform. Finally, the last section is the products and services section. For the daily press, this was to address customer needs, wants, emotions, and motivations with a comprehensive map-based visual email newsletter that would eliminate guesswork of where the news occurred, reduce the frustration of multiple clicks and scanning for location-specific information, and increase confidence of subscribers being informed, which will ultimately create stronger social and emotional connections with the community. From the creation of the Daily Press unique value proposition of this map-based visual newsletter, we subsequently tested in the market with a classical A/B test over 6 weeks. This test revealed that the map-based visual approach of the new email newsletter increased unique clicks by 36% over the control or old text-based email.